Stoic interpretation of How to Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie. Part 1. Accepting what lies within our power. A Stoic guide to ceasing worry and embracing life. The human soul is restless, often tangled in a web of its own making. Worries about tomorrow, regrets of yesterday, fears of what might be lost or never gained. Yet in this tumult, there lies a simple truth. Much of what troubles us is beyond our grasp, and what remains within our control is enough to live well. The wise man does not wrestle with the winds of fate, but adjusts his sails to their course. This is the beginning of freedom from worry, not by escaping life's trials, but by understanding what is ours to command. Let us start with a principle as old as the Stoic itself. There are things within our power and things beyond it. Our thoughts, our actions, our will. These are ours to shape. The opinions of others, the outcomes of our endeavors, the turnings of fortune, these are not. Worry arises when we blur this line, when we reach for mastery over what we cannot hold. Consider a farmer tilling his field. He plants the seed, waters the soil, and tends the crop. But the rain, the sun, the blight, these are not his to summon or banish. If he frets over the drought he cannot end, he suffers twice. Once in the lack of water, and again in his mind's rebellion against it. So it is with us. To stop worrying is to see clearly this division and to dwell only in the realm we govern. Imagine a man pacing his home, tormented by the thought that his neighbor despises him. Day and night he replays their last exchange, crafting arguments to win a battle that exists only in his head. What folly! The neighbor's mind is not his to rule. Let him say what he will, think what he pleases. It alters not the man's own virtue unless he permits it. The Stoic does not chase the approval of others, for he knows it is a phantom, fleeting and fickle. He turns inward, asking, have I acted justly? Have I spoken truth? If the answer is yes, the neighbor's scorn is no more than a breeze passing through the trees, felt but not clung to. Now let us apply this to the day before us. Each morning we awaken to a scroll of tasks and troubles. Some will go as we wish, others will defy us. A merchant may lose his wares to a storm at sea. A mother may watch her child fall ill. A traveler may find the road blocked. Worry bids us to lament these things before they even occur, to live them twice or thrice in imagination. But what good does this serve? None. It weakens the spirit and clouds the judgment. Instead, take the moment as it comes. When the storm strikes, the merchant salvages what he can and seeks new trade. When the child sickens, the mother tends to her with care. When the road closes, the traveler finds another path. This is not passivity, but strength. The strength to act where we may and release where we may not. A story from the ancients sharpens this lesson. A man once came to the philosopher Epictetus, trembling with fear that his brother might die in a distant war. Is your brother's life yours to command? Epictetus asked. No, the man replied. Then why do you carry a burden that is not yours? Tend to your own soul and let him tend to his fate. Harsh words perhaps, but liberating, for in them lies the key. We suffer most when we claim ownership of what is not ours. Release this false claim, and worry begins to loosen its grip. But how do we train ourselves in this art? It begins with a daily practice, a quiet discipline of the mind. At dawn, pause and ask, what lies within my power today? Write it down if you must, a list of what you can do, not what you hope the world will do for you. Perhaps it is to speak kindly to a friend, to finish a task with diligence, to face a difficulty with courage. These are your dominion. Then as the hours unfold, meet each event with this question: can I change this? If yes, act. If no, accept. The rain falls, the crowd jeers, the coin slips from your purse. So be it. Your peace does not hinge on these, but on your response to them. Consider, too, the brevity of life, a truth the Stoics held ever before their eyes. Marcus Aurelius, emperor and sage, wrote that our days are but a breath, a flicker against the vastness of time. Why, then, spend this fleeting span in anguish over what we cannot alter? To worry is to squander what little we have. Picture yourself on your deathbed, looking back. Will you mourn the hours lost to fretting over a shipment delayed or a word misspoken? Or will you wish you had lived those moments, tasted the bread, felt the sun, laughed with a companion? The choice is yours, and it begins now. Yet let us be honest, the mind resists this wisdom. It clings to worry as a child to a worn blanket, finding strange comfort in its misery. When this happens, do not despair. Observe the thought as you would a passing cloud. Say to it, you are here, but you are not me. I need not follow you. With time, this detachment grows stronger, and the cloud drifts away. The Stoic does not banish emotion. He masters it, turning it from tyrant to servant. So here is the first step to stop worrying and start living. Know your sphere. Grasp what is yours, your will, your deeds, your inner peace, and let the rest fall away. The world will spin as it will, bringing joy and sorrow in equal measure. But you, standing firm in what you command, need not be its prisoner. This is not the end of worry's tale, but its beginning, a foundation upon which we will build. For in the parts to come, we will learn to face the past, to meet the present, to prepare for tomorrow, and to live as nature intended, fully, freely, and without fear. Part 2. Releasing the chains of yesterday. A Stoic guide to ceasing worry and embracing life. The mind is a restless wanderer, often straying backward into the shadows of what has been. There it lingers, replaying moments of failure, loss, or shame, as if by revisiting them, it might rewrite their ending. This is the second snare of worry, the belief that what is done can be undone, that the past is a debt we must endlessly repay. But the Stoic knows better. Yesterday is a guest who has departed. Its presence lingers only if we invite it to stay. To stop worrying is to bid it farewell, not with bitterness, but with the calm resolve to live today. Let us begin with the truth the ancients carved into their philosophy. The past is not ours to hold. It lies beyond the circle of our power, as fixed as the stars in their courses. Seneca, the Stoic sage, wrote that we suffer more in imagination than in reality, and nowhere is this clearer than in our backward gaze. A man who once lost a fortune may torment himself with thoughts of what he might have done, sold sooner, risked less, foreseen the ruin. Yet the coins are gone, the moment spent. To dwell there is to strike at a shadow, wounding only himself. The wise man does not ask, "What if?" He asks, "What now?" Consider a woman who spoke harshly to a friend, and now that friend is lost to time or distance. Night after night she replays the words, her heart heavy with regret. But what can she mend? The words flew like arrows. They cannot be unshot. She may learn from them, yes, resolve to speak with greater care, to seek peace where she can, but to chain herself to that moment is to live in a prison of her own making. The Stoic sees this plainly. Regret is a teacher, not a master. Take its lesson and let the rest fall away. This is not to say we should forget the past entirely. Memory is a tool, a mirror reflecting what we have endured and overcome. Marcus Aurelius urged us to look back only to see how little we needed to be content, how often we bore what seemed unbearable. A farmer whose crop failed last season does not weep over the withered stalks. He studies the soil, notes the drought, and plants anew. So it is with us. The past is a field harvested. Its yield is gone, but its wisdom remains. To worry over it is to plow barren ground. How then do we break free? Begin by facing the past as it is, not as you wish it were. Take a quiet hour and summon those moments that gnaw at you, a missed chance, a broken bond, a choice that led to pain. Look upon them as a philosopher, not a mourner. Ask, did I act with what knowledge and strength I had then? If yes, you owe yourself no blame. Fortune turned as it would. If no, resolve to act better now, for that is all you command. This is the Stoic's alchemy, turning the lead of regret into the gold of purpose. A tale from antiquity illustrates this. A young man approached Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, lamenting a shipwreck that cost him all he owned. "I am ruined," he cried. Zeno replied, "You are alive, are you not? Then you have lost only what can be lost again. Begin anew." Harsh counsel, but true. The wreck was done. The man's worry could not raise it from the depths. His task was to build again, not to mourn the timbers sunk. So it is with us. What is gone is gone. Our work lies in what remains. Yet the mind resists. It clings to yesterday's sorrows, fearing that to release them is to deny their weight. This is a delusion. To let go is not to erase, but to reclaim your strength. When the thought arises, "I should have done more. I failed them," meet it with reason. Say, "That hour is past. I stand here now. What can I do in this moment?" Perhaps it is to make amends where possible, to offer a hand where it was once withheld. Perhaps it is simply to live well, honoring what was lost by not losing today to it. The Stoic does not flee emotion. He directs it toward what is useful. Practice this daily as you would temper a blade. Each morning, reflect briefly. What from yesterday troubles me? Name it plainly, a quarrel, a mistake, a grief. Then ask, can I change it? If no, release it to the wind. If yes, act, but act now, not in endless rumination. A merchant cheated in trade cannot reclaim the coin, but he can deal honestly henceforth. A parent who neglected a child cannot rewrite the years, but can offer love today. This is the hinge of freedom. The past informs, but does not rule. And what of guilt, that heavy cloak we drape upon ourselves? The Stoics saw it as a signal, not a sentence. If you have wronged another, seek to right it where you can. Apologize, repay, restore. If the chance is gone, let your life be the amends. Epictetus taught that we are not our errors, but our choices now. A thief who stole yesterday may give today. His past does not bind him unless he permits it. Worry thrives on guilt's illusion, that we are forever stained. Cast it off. You are what you do in this breath. Life is short, a truth the Stoics held as a lantern. Why waste it wrestling with shadows? The sun rises anew, indifferent to yesterday's storms. So must we. The past has taught you, shaped you, scarred you. It has done its work. Now do yours. Stand in the present, firm as a rock amid the stream, letting the waters of what was flow past. Worry cannot reclaim what is lost, but it can rob you of what is here. Release the chains, and you will find your hands free to build, to hold, to live. This is the second step, to see the past as a guest departed, not a captor. In the parts to come, we will turn to the present's trials, the future's uncertainties, and the art of living fully. For now, let yesterday rest. Your task is today. Part 3, Standing Firm in the Present, a Stoic guide to ceasing worry and embracing life. The present is the only ground we truly tread, yet how often we abandon it, fleeing to the past's echoes or the future's fog. Worry thrives in this desertion, spinning tales of what might go wrong or what once did, leaving us strangers to the hour we inhabit. The Stoic knows this. Life is now, not then or soon. To stop worrying is to plant your feet in this moment, to meet it with clear eyes and steady hands, for it alone is yours to shape. Let us anchor ourselves with the truth the Stoics held dear. The present is all we possess. Yesterday is a memory, tomorrow a hope, neither can be grasped. Marcus Aurelius wrote that each day is a life unto itself, a span complete if we live it well. Consider a craftsman at his bench. He does not lament the bowl he broke last week, nor does he fret over the clay that may crack tomorrow. He shapes what is before him, turning the wheel with care. So it is with us. The task, the breath, the choice, these are here. Worry pulls us elsewhere. Wisdom calls us back. Picture a merchant haggling in the market, his mind racing with fears of losing coin, of being cheated, of returning empty-handed. His hands tremble, his voice falters, and the deal slips away. Why? Because he is not there. His body stands amid the stalls, but his spirit wrestles phantoms. Contrast this with the Stoic merchant, who weighs the goods, offers his price, and accepts the outcome. He knows his skill is his to wield. The buyer's choice is not. Present in his work, he acts without distraction and thus acts well. The lesson is plain. To live now is to live fully. But the present is not always gentle. A storm may rage, a friend may wound, a plan may crumble. Worry bids us to flinch, to curse the moment as an enemy. The Stoic sees otherwise. Each instant, harsh or kind, is a teacher. Seneca counseled that difficulties are the raw material of virtue. Without them, courage and patience remain untested. When the rain soaks your cloak, do not rail against the sky. Feel the wet, walk on and dry yourself when you can. This is not surrender, but strength. The strength to endure what is, not to waste breath wishing it away. How do we master this art? Begin by narrowing your gaze. The day is vast, a sea of hours that can drown us if we try to swallow it whole. Instead, take it as it comes. One task, one step, one breath. At dawn, ask, what is before me now? Perhaps it is to rise, to eat, to greet a companion. Do these simply without borrowing trouble from noon or night. A soldier in battle does not mourn the war's end. He meets the foe at hand. So must we. When noon arrives, face it then. Worry grows in the gaps we leave unfilled. Fill them with presence. A practice aids this. Pause thrice each day, morning, midday, evening, and look about you. What do you see? The sun on the wall, the weight of a tool, the sound of a child's laugh? What do you feel? Hunger, fatigue, a fleeting joy? Name these things not to judge them, but to know them. This is your life, not the shadow of what might be. Epictetus taught that we are disturbed not by events, but by our opinions of them. Strip away the opinion. This rain ruins me. This delay is unbearable. And what remains is the fact. It rains, time passes. Act where you can, accept where you cannot, and the disturbance fades. A story from the Stoics sharpens this. A man once rushed to Seneca, breathless, crying that his house had burned. All is lost, he wailed. Seneca asked, are you here? Yes, the man replied. Then not all is lost. You stand, begin again. The fire was real, the loss was real, but the moment was new. The man could not rebuild the beams in an instant, but he could gather his wits, seek shelter, plan the next step. Worry would have kept him staring at ashes. Presence moved him forward. So it is with us. The blow falls, meet it, not its echo. Yet the mind rebels, darting to what next or why me? This is its nature, restless as a colt. Do not fight it with force, guide it with reason. When the thought arises, this task will fail, this pain will worsen. Answer it, perhaps, but that is not now. What is now? A scribe whose ink spills does not weep for the scroll's ruin. He wipes the blot and writes again. A mother whose child cries does not dread a sleepless year. She soothes the wail at hand. The present is enough. It asks only what you give it. And what of joy? Too often we rush past it, fearing it will flee or doubting we deserve it. The Stoic pauses. The bread is warm, the friend is near, the sky is clear. These are gifts, not debts. Savor them, not as a cling to fortune, but as a nod to nature's rhythm. Happiness is not a prize to hoard. It is a flame that burns brightest when we tend it now. To live in the moment is to taste both its bitter and its sweet, without dilution. Time is brief. a thread unraveling as we speak. The Stoics saw this not as terror but as clarity. Why squander the now on what is not? The merchant haggles, the scribe writes, the mother soothes, all else is noise. Stand where you are. See the light, hear the wind, feel the earth. Act if action is called for. Rest if rest is due. Worry cannot steal this hour unless you lend it your strength. Refuse it, and you reclaim your own. This is the third step, to dwell in the present, neither fleeing nor clinging. In the parts ahead, we will face the future's veil and the life well lived. For now, be here. The world turns, the moment waits. Meet it. Part 4, Facing Tomorrow Without Fear. A Stoic Guide to Ceasing Worry and Embracing Life. The future stretches before us, a horizon veiled in mist, and the mind, ever eager, races to pierce it. What will come? Ruin or triumph, sickness or strength, loss or gain? In this guessing, worry takes root, painting shadows of dread where no substance yet exists. The Stoic stands apart from this frenzy. He knows the morrow is not his to hold, but neither is it his enemy. To stop worrying is to meet the unknown not as a foe, but as a guest, welcomed when it arrives, not feared before its time. Let us ground ourselves in a Stoic axiom. The future lies beyond our dominion. Our will shapes today's deeds, not tomorrow's fates. Epictetus taught that we are like actors in a play. The script is not ours to write, but the role is ours to perform. A farmer sows his field, knowing frost may strike or rains may fail. He does not weep for the harvest yet ungrown. He tills, he waters, he waits. So must we. Worry bids us to live tomorrow's storms today, suffering twice what may never come. Wisdom bids us prepare, then release. Imagine a traveler planning a journey. He packs his bread, mends his cloak, charts his path. Yet a river may swell, a brigand may strike, a wheel may break. Does he pace the night, conjuring each mishap? No. He readies what he can, then sleeps. The Stoic does not deny the future's uncertainty. He embraces it. What will be, will be. His task is to face it well when it unfolds. To fret over the river before it floods is to drown in a stream that may never rise. Act now and let tomorrow answer for itself. But preparation is not passivity. The Stoics were no fatalists resigned to drift. Marcus Aurelius, ruler of Rome, rose each dawn to govern, to judge, to lead, knowing chaos might undo his plans, yet acting all the same. Consider a merchant awaiting a ship. He cannot calm the sea, but he can tally his goods, secure his store, seek news of the tides. This is the balance, to do what lies within your power today, leaving the rest to fortune. Worry thrives when we neglect this duty, grasping at what we cannot touch. Fulfill it, and the mind grows still. How do we walk this path? Begin with a morning rite. Sit quietly and ask, what can I do today to meet tomorrow? Perhaps it is to mend a tool, to save a coin, to strengthen your frame with labor or rest. List these acts, small, sure steps within your reach. Then do them, not as a charm against fate, but as a foundation for whatever comes. A soldier sharpens his blade, not because he knows the battle's hour, but because he knows his craft. When the hour strikes, he is ready, not anxious, but resolved. A tale from Seneca illuminates this. A man fretted endlessly that his city might fall to invaders, picturing flames and ruin. "Have they breached the gates?" Seneca asked. "No," the man replied. "Then why do you breach your peace? Build your walls, train your hands, let the enemy come when he will." The man's fear was a thief, stealing today for a war unborn. Preparation was his shield, not prophecy. So it is with us. Illness may strike, wealth may fade. Meet them with a body tended, a spirit steeled, not a mind frayed by visions. Yet the future's lure is strong. The thought creeps in, what if I fail? What if all is lost? These are the mind's arrows, sharp with possibility. Do not dodge them, catch them. Say, if failure comes, I will bear it. If loss arrives, I will endure it. I have faced today, I will face then. The Stoic does not pretend all will go well. He knows it need not. Virtue is his anchor, not fortune. A tree bends in the gale, but stands by its roots. Your roots are your reason, your courage. Tend them, and no wind uproots you. Practice this when dread stirs. Picture the fear, say a debt unpaid, a journey thwarted. Ask, what is the worst? Name it plainly. I may lose my home, I may walk alone. Then ask, can I live through it? Yes, you can. Men have borne worse with less. Strip the terror to its bones, and it shrinks. Seneca wrote that we suffer most from what we fear, not what we meet. The debt may come due, pay what you can, face the rest. The journey may stall, find another road. The future is a shadow until it steps into light. Do not fight shadows. And what of hope? The Stoics were no dour souls, shunning joy. Hope is a spark, but not a crutch. A farmer hopes for rain, yet digs his well. A parent hopes for a child's health, yet teaches resilience. To pin peace on tomorrow's promise is to invite worry when it fails. Let hope walk beside you, not lead you. The Stoic finds contentment in the act, not the outcome. The sowing, the teaching, the striving. What follows is nature's gift, not your right. Time rolls on, a river we cannot halt. The Stoics saw this as a call to clarity. Why waste today on tomorrow's guess? The merchant packs, the soldier sharpens, the parent nurtures, all else is missed. Stand ready, not restless. When the ship docks or sinks, when the foe advances or retreats, you will know. Until then, live. Worry cannot hasten the dawn. It can only darken the day. This is the fourth step, to face the future with preparation, not panic. In the final part, we will weave these threads, past, present, future, into the art of living well. For now, let tomorrow wait. Your work is here. Part 5. Living fully as nature intended. A Stoic guide to ceasing worry and embracing life. Here we stand at the summit of our journey, gazing back at the paths we've trod, releasing the past, mastering the present, preparing for the future without fear. These are not mere steps, but threads in a single tapestry, a life lived according to reason, courage in nature's design. Worry is the shadow cast by a mind at war with itself. To stop it is to align with what is, to live as the Stoics did, fully, freely, and without the chains of needless anguish. This final part is not an end, but a beginning. The art of thriving as we were meant to. Let us begin with the Stoic vision of life, a gift, brief and indifferent, shaped by our will alone. Marcus Aurelius wrote that we are sparks in an eternal fire, here to burn brightly for our span. The world turns, storms rage, fortunes shift, bodies fade, but our power lies in how we meet it all. Worry steals this power, whispering that peace depends on what we cannot hold: wealth, praise, endless days. The Stoic knows otherwise. Peace is within, forged by virtue, not bestowed by chance. To live well is to claim this truth. Recall the farmer from our first lesson, tending his field. He plants what he can, accepts what he cannot, learns from last season, prepares for the next. His hands are weathered, his harvest uncertain, yet he stands unbowed. This is the Stoic life, not a flight from trouble, but a dance with it. A merchant cheated in trade does not curse the stars. He trades again, wiser. A parent grieving a loss does not cling to yesterday. She loves what remains now. Each moment, each choice builds a life not of ease but of strength. How do we weave this into our days? Start with simplicity. Nature bids us need little. Bread sustains, water quenches, a cloak warms. Worry grows fat on excess, chasing more coin, more claim, more time. Pare it back. Ask, what do I truly require? A meal shared, a task done, a mind clear, these suffice. Seneca taught that the happy man is content with his lot, not craving another's. A potter shapes his clay, not envying the goldsmith's forge. Find your clay, shape it well, and let the rest pass. Next, embrace the rhythm of each day. Rise with purpose, not to conquer the world, but to meet it. At dawn say, I will act justly. Bear what comes, seek what is good. Then do so. A scribe writes, a cook stirs, a friend listens. Small acts, yet they are life's pulse. When night falls, reflect. Did I live this day? Not perfectly, perhaps. Perfection is a phantom, but truly. Epictetus urged us to play our part, not lament the stage. The play is yours. Perform it. And when the world presses, when the crowd jeers, the roof leaks, the body aches, stand firm. These are not assaults but tests. The Stoic does not ask, why me, but what now? A storm-soaked traveler dries his cloak and walks on. A scorned worker holds his tongue and labors still. Pain is a guest, not a jailer. Welcome it, learn from it, let it go. Marcus wrote that what need not defeat the inner man need not defeat us at all. Your citadel is your soul. No arrow breaches it unless you open the gate. A story ties this together. A man once sought Zeno, weary from life's blows. His trade faltered, his health waned, his kin drifted. How do I find peace? He asked. Zeno pointed to a tree. It bends in the wind, sheds its leaves, grows anew. Does it worry? The man shook his head. Be as the tree, Zeno said. Stand where you are. Yield what you must. Grow where you can. The man left not richer or stronger, but lighter, freed to live, not to wrestle shadows. So it is with us. Nature is our guide, resilient, uncomplaining, whole. Yet the mind will stray. Old habits of worry claw back. When they do, meet them as a Stoic. A thought arises, I am failing. All will collapse. And you answer, perhaps, but I am here. What is my task? A potter's wheel jams. He clears the grit and spins again. A friend's slight stings. You speak or forgive, not fester. This is not suppression, but mastery. Reason over passion, action over paralysis. With time, the habit weakens, and peace takes root. What then is the fruit of this life? Not a world remade, fortune spins as it will, but a self remade. You walk through loss, toil, joy, unchanged in essence, yet tempered by all. The Stoics called this eudaimonia, flourishing. Not a fleeting thrill, but a steady glow. A merchant counts not his coins, but his honesty. A parent measures not her years, but her care. The day ends, the spark dims. You rest, content. This is to live fully, not louder, but deeper. Time dwindles, a truth we've held close. Why waste it on what fades? The Stoics saw death not as a thief but a boundary framing our task, to make this span matter. Not in fame, ashes care not for statues, but in being. A tree falls, its rings tell its tale. Your tale is your choices, etched now. Worry blurs them, presence carves them clear. So here is the final step. Live as nature intended, rooted, open, unafraid. The past taught you, the present calls you, the future waits you. None owns you. Stand as the farmer, the merchant, the tree, doing, bearing, growing. Worry falls away not by force, but by fullness. Life too rich to spare it room. Begin today. The sun rises, the wheel turns, the breath holds. This is enough. This is all. Moral and conclusions. A Stoic reflection on ceasing worry and embracing life. Moral. The essence of a life unburdened by worry lies in this: to know what is ours and what is not, and to dwell only in what we command. Nature grants us the will to act, the strength to endure, and the reason to discern. Beyond these, all else is win. The past is a lesson sealed, the future a veil unlifted, the present a field to till. To chase what lies beyond our grasp is to court misery. To tend what lies within it is to find peace. Virtue is our anchor, justice in our deeds, courage in our trials, wisdom in our choices. Worry is a thief of this virtue, stealing time and spirit for illusions we cannot hold. Cast it off and you reclaim your birthright, a life lived, not merely survived. Conclusions. From these 5 meditations we draw a clear path. Accept what lies within our power. Worry fades when we cease to wrestle with fate. Grasp your thoughts, your actions, your resolve. Release the rest to the world's turning. The farmer sows, the rain falls, so it is. Peace begins here, in the circle of your dominion. Release the chains of yesterday. The past is a guest departed, not a captor. Its lessons are yours to keep, its burdens yours to shed. Regret teaches, but does not rule. Stand free, not bound by what was, and let today breathe. Stand firm in the present. Life is now, not then or soon. Meet this moment, its toil, its joy, with steady hands. The scribe writes, the storm passes. Neither need shake you. Presence is your strength, worry its surrender. Face tomorrow without fear. The future is a shadow, not a foe. Prepare what you can, accept what you cannot, and let it come when it will. The merchant packs, the soldier sharpens. Readiness, not dread, is the Stoic's shield. Live fully as nature intended. Flourish as the tree, rooted in reason, yielding to wind, growing through seasons. Need little, act truly, bear all. Life is brief, make it deep. Worry withers in a soul too full for its shadow. Thus the conclusion is simple, yet profound. To stop worrying is to start living, not by escaping the world, but by embracing it as it is. The Stoic does not seek a life without storms, but a spirit unshaken by them. Time flows, a river swift and sure. Do not stand on its banks, lamenting its course. Step in, swim with its current, not against it. Your task is not to halt the flood, but to navigate it. To act where you may, to endure where you must, to thrive in the span you are given. Let this be your creed. I am here. I will do what I can, bear what I must, and let the rest fall away. The sun rises, the day calls, answer it. Worry has no purchase where life is lived whole. Go forth then, not as a prisoner of fear, but as a master of your soul. This is the Stoic way. This is enough. These moral and conclusions encapsulate the book's teachings in a Stoic voice. Terse, resolute, and grounded in practical wisdom. They echo Carnegie's aim to inspire action while rooting it in the timeless philosophy of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus. Let me know if you'd like any refinements.